Ladies and gentlemen, we're back, the Rum Regret podcast, and we are talking about our reactions to Ready Player One, the movie. I am Andy Drake.
Johanna Myers.
Nate Tussey, and we drink and we know things.
Now, we were all very, very connected to the book. We all loved the book. And now we have the movie that's out there. We have had over a month to sort of sink it in and really think about what the movie versus the book is all about. I think we should just go with the score system first, and then we can really dig in and talk about it. So, Nate, what did you score the movie?
Me first. Why me first? So I would have walked out of that movie the first time I saw it with you guys. Honestly, I was just like disgusted. Basically, what they did is they sold the book readers a bill of goods and then took them to the cleaners. Basically, hey, look, this is this movie that everybody loves, or if you love it, you really love it. We're going to call it Ready Player One. The beginning and the ending are kind of the same, but we're going to gut the middle. Nothing is the same, basically, in the middle. And not even the structure, like the key and then the gate and then, challenge and that kind of thing.
Right.
So I hated the movie originally. And hate is a strong word, and it's used incorrectly, because I hated what my mind had built up this movie should be.
Right.
Because I wanted a 1-to-1 adaptation of the book, which I know obviously isn't going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted something to be similar, or it needed more hooks maybe to keep it real for me.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, so I guess score, the first time I saw it would have been, I got to give it at least a 6 because it's Spielberg.
Okay.
To get any higher than that
would be a reach for you.
Yeah, a reach for the first viewing.
Okay. Upon second viewing.
Actually, so first viewing, hoping it was the book, it's a 4.
Okay.
Second viewing with my daughter, who absolutely loved it and wanted to watch Back to the Future because of it, I got to give it at least a 7.5 or an 8.
Okay.
I still think there was a lot of things they could have done better, but for what it was really entertaining, very engaging, and I think going to see it in a different theater, because we saw it in one of the back theaters at Brendan originally, right?
Yeah.
I went and saw it in IMAX with Addie, and it blew me away.
Okay.
The sound wasn't even working right in that theater that we saw it originally. So
yeah.
Shocking that sound's important in a movie that's action filled like that, but like when the stacks fell, there wasn't any bass.
Yeah.
In the theater we saw it in, but in IMAX obviously it was ridiculous. So
yeah.
That really helped. The music obviously was amazing, and Addie was just super into it. So I think all of those things, 7.5, 8,
okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
Joe, what would you score the movie?
6, 7.
Okay.
I went into it prepared to hate it and that it was going to ruin it, and I was not expecting it to be anything like the book. Just to, so I didn't have Nate's reaction.
Right. Yeah.
But, it was a decent movie, but the book's way better, and I kind of feel like they should have just made a movie and not tried to make it Ready Player One.
Or make 3 movies like Lord of the Rings. And
have
Gate for
right, Gate 1, Gate 2, and Gate 3.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, visually it was awesome, but yeah, it was just like a quick gloss over of Ready Player One, which, it's not a huge book, It's like
right.
300 pages, 350, something like that.
You could have done it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was fun.
All right.
Kind of had a great time.
Right.
I loved it. And he's never read the book, so he was just like, "You guys are harsh, man. I thought the movie was good."
Well, people that had never read the book had an advantage.
That's
for sure.
No, and that's true. Yeah. So I'm with you. I think it's in the 6 and 7 range. I agree. It wasn't the book. We all knew it wasn't going to be the book. But at the same time, and again, this harkens back to my theory on anything that gets adapted or readapted and readapted to where we have, we have a Flash television series on the CW, right? We have a new Superman movie coming out, stuff like that. It's never going to be what we know it to be. Sometimes it can, and then
Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter did a pretty good job.
No, they obviously did, but again, there were some some sort of points there.
Definite changes, but not like
right.
We're gonna call it Lord of the Rings, and now the Muppets are in the middle of the movie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So and like I said, I knew it always was going to be an adaptation of the book that we love, and the book that was so great, was just such. Yeah, and so I get it from that point of view. And again, now, and my sort of scoring for movies is it rewatchable? Is it rewatchable? Is it rewatchable?
There's so many things.
Now, and again, you're talking to a DC guy, right? Batman versus Superman, not a rewatchable movie in any way, shape, or form. Nope. I've tried, and I just can't. I get through 5 minutes, and I'm just like, what else is on?
I don't think I've even seen that movie all the way through. I think I fell asleep.
You're probably better for it.
Oh yeah,
you're probably better for
You've
it.
lived your life more.
Yes, right. Yes, yeah. And so
I only have an hour that I can't get back.
in that breath, I think Ready Player One is a highly rewatchable movie that I will be happy to rewatch. And ever, but it's not the book from that point of view.
Not even close.
Now, let's talk about what worked and what didn't work.
Can I ask a question real quick, just in the context of your scoring?
Yeah.
If the Shining scene wasn't in the movie, how many points does that drop the movie for you?
Well, I
felt that was one of the better parts.
No, absolutely, and I think, but that digs into what works and what doesn't.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Because that worked.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
Amazing.
So, and we don't have to go by gate number.
Yeah. No,
okay,
no,
yeah. So on your point, the Shining scene absolutely worked in the movie. It was great. It was it was sort of the closest representation to a gate from the book that comes into the movie.
Yeah, because he's playing through the movie.
Right, they're playing. They're sort of quote unquote playing through the movie. Right.
H's reactions were
were fantastic.
No, you don't want to like scary movies.
Yeah, and I love when Artemis gets into the point at the Haunted Mansion ball. they I know but they shove everybody else out of the which they did in the book too.
Yeah.
And so I thought that scene was just fantastic. I thought it was great, and it to see those characters in The Shining, I just thought was excellent. One of the things that didn't work for me, and that sort of immediately took you out of the movie just from what you loved from the book, was the very first gate.
The race.
Yeah, and it's like these guys have been doing these races for how long, and
nobody thought to go backwards.
King Kong is there, and you can't get by him.
Yeah.
Or unless at the point where we saw, was that the farthest anyone has ever gotten?
Yes.
Okay. So
they said that in the movie.
Okay. Okay.
That's why he saved Artemis.
Right.
Because he knew that she wasn't going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that. And it's just that the whole thing for the book was that Wade was so smart, and that was another thing that sort of was really lacking from the movie, was that Wade he definitely knew his stuff, but he didn't seem as smart or as in control as he did in the book.
For sure. And to your point, he didn't actually find the Tomb of Horrors first. That was Artemis, right?
Exactly.
And that was 4 years later after something like that. Like the book timing.
Right.
But even though he's very schooled in the lore, it was a certain set of events that triggered, these different tumblers that fell, and finally he's like, oh shit, I can use mapping program to, and there's no way they could have. They could have done that.
Right.
The Ludus thing could have totally worked.
Absolutely.
The high school thing would have kind of got buy-in from your target audience. You make it more contemporary. You don't use D&D, but you do something like Minecraft or whatever.
Sure.
And you could have totally made it right.
Yeah.
You could have totally made it work.
Yeah.
I liked the race scene in itself, but not as it pertained to be the first gate.
Right. Yeah. And that was the only thing, is that now this is and again, one of the selling points of Ready Player One are the Easter eggs, right? And I think that's what the race wanted to be, was just Easter egg heaven.
Oh yeah. T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's why they made that decision to go that route, is because we can, we have to put in Easter eggs to make this movie work, and this is a sort of a way to do it.
Sure.
So, but yeah, like if the timing was more like the book, like it would have almost made sense to have the race not be so big, and to have just a couple people doing it because they've sort of lost that hope.
Or maybe that could have been one of the games. They could have switched it to pole position or something.
Right.
And that, something more contemporary. Mario Kart.
Right.
Which would have been awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine
right.
that?
Yeah.
And have that be one of the things. So I have a couple if I...
No, absolutely. Go ahead.
So, my list of things that didn't work is a mile long. So I won't go to all of them, but the quote-unquote love story was so ham-fisted and ridiculous because it works in the book because you have this build-up and this back and forth and they spend months together and that kind of thing, and 20 minutes into the movie, I love you. Like, what? You didn't even know me. Like, I mean, her reaction was fine. Yeah. But and then the fact that they get back together, and it's just...
Well, now...
so bad.
So, but in terms of, sort of, I want to call it internet love.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was right on par.
No way! This isn't a Tinder date.
I know but I actually thought it was closer to the truth. I didn't have the problem with it that you did.
Really?
I did not. No.
I kind of feel like the whole beginning of the movie was rushed.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't really get much of a backstory on any of the characters. It was just like, here they all are together, and they're in this race, and then they're in love, and then it's just, everything was just kind of like...
They didn't do a good job of showing the world either, like how bad it was in the world and why everyone's in the Oasis. Like they showed this one trailer park, and that was basically...
but there's a big screen in the stacks, and it didn't
talk about the energy crisis and
didn't seem that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
The world did not seem that bad.
Right.
No,
but cool trailer park actually.
No, absolutely.
As far as trailer parks go.
But I do agree that it just in terms of the book to the movie, it would have been better to see Wade sort of going about his business than. Oh no, we're going to the race. Going to the race.
Yeah, for sure.
Going to the race.
The other thing I thought that really didn't work was IOI and the villains in that movie. It was so bad. And I love, what's the name of that actor?
Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn. Love him as an actor. Loved him in Rogue One as the bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a great job there. It was not awesome, but it was good.
Right. No, he did not play this well.
No, and I don't think it's his fault.
Right. That was written. He was written poorly.
Yeah, IOI in general, all of IOI is written poorly.
Yeah.
Like the indentured camp, the way they had the people in little telephone booths, the locations. I mean, the building was, I guess, kind of looked okay. The whole third act of the book, which would have been amazing, and you could have done it, or you could have tried to do it.
Yeah.
And the fact at the end where he's got a gun on the guy that's been running him around, and look, their kid thing. Never mind, I give up. Take me away to jail.
Right.
It was.
He was. Yeah. Sorrento was a boob in the movie.
He was a boob.
He was a boob in the movie.
He was a B-E-W-B.
Yes.
He was a boob.
Yeah, he's a boob.
He doesn't even get the double.
You're never threatened by Sorrento at all.
No.
Yeah. And
which is crazy because he kills a ton of people at the beginning.
No,
but you don't feel it.
Absolutely.
Like the book, you really felt it.
Absolutely, yeah. Joe?
One of the things that worked for me, and it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I'm trying to think about it, and what was that?
Me too.
The scene where they're researching Halliday's life, and it's the library.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty neat.
That was a good way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I loved the virtual reality clips of his story.
Yeah, and the librarian dude.
Right. Yeah, and I like it's and it was like I said it was convenient that we don't see and Wade alludes to that he's the only one that's been coming there,
spending all this time.
Right, spending all this time, but then the only scenes we see are ones that automatically pertain to what he needs, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And so it would have been nice, and I guess but you have to do that with dialogue, unfortunately, unless you want a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
I mean, and they could have. Why was Og even in the movie?
Right.
The Distracted Globe was such a miss.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stuff was cool, it looked great, but why couldn't they have taken it from the book and it was the guy's party and he kicks everybody's ass, but instead
it looked cool, but the substance wasn't there.
No,
right.
at all.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it because every every time they were in the Oasis, it was just visually breathtaking. It looked amazing. It's probably the best you'll ever see any kind of CGI in a movie look for a long time. But you're right, it was just thin. It's just vapor.
Like the distracted globe, the best parts they showed in the trailer.
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That was pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something that worked because I haven't said anything yet. I mean, obviously, any of the Oasis stuff looked really good.
Yeah.
The final battle I thought was cool. It wasn't. Again, why wouldn't they do the battle from the end of the book where every person has their own mech,
right?
And they're going up against Mechagodzilla, and Mechagodzilla kills everybody.
Yeah.
Basically, and then finally gets to the end of it.
Yeah.
It just seemed like there were things they could have done. I don't know if they cut it for money.
Maybe, and that was another thing too. Was that again the book really shows how smart Wade is in his manipulation of IOI when he gets his apartment, when he gets arrested, when he's doing his day job. You know,
hacking into the system.
Right? Yeah,
it would have been great.
I know it would.
Like a hackers scene.
Right? Yeah.
Hackers, like. And
so, but then, really, it's Artemis who wasn't expecting to get caught, who just automatically finds herself in that spot, you know, and then just happens to sort of know what to do to get in the middle of it.
Holy shit!
Right? Yeah. So that was the sort of the by circumstance. You know, oh hey, I just happened to be here. Let me mess it up, sort of thing. Versus no, this is my plan from the beginning to completely screw everybody over.
Can you imagine if they dropped that third act in the movie? Like people with minds would have been blown.
Right?
Out of that. Like holy shit! You know.
But yeah, and
Johnny Five at the end.
Yeah, that too.
Right.
Killer device.
Yeah. So I agree that that the third act was. For what they sort of made in the first and second act, kind of held true for, and then the final gate, it was a little. I mean, come on, for all those people playing that game and for all the resources at IOI, someone was gonna know.
Come on,
someone was gonna know,
right?
Yeah,
and it's like if Wade knew. Someone else was going to know.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was one of the issues that I had too. Is that, I mean, come on.
God, I wanted 3 movies.
Yeah,
or do a Netflix series because that would have been cool.
Right?
Because then you could see what happens afterwards. Because it was supposed to be Ready Player 2 was supposed to have been out already, but because of the movie,
he had to take his time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
which is too bad because now it doesn't look like they're going to do Armada, which would be fun.
Right.
If you haven't read that. But it's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we love the book more than the movie.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah. And but again, as someone who doesn't mind differentiating between the book and the movie, I thought the movie was definitely entertaining. Definitely, in terms of what the book brought. The movie brings it differently, with the exception of, you don't really believe that the characters, can get, Wade's an uber nerd, a Halliday uber nerd, but like I just don't. The movie's a little too happenstance.
They don't even go out of their way enough to show how much of a Halliday uber nerd he is.
Right.
Because he is, it's ridiculous.
Right.
In the book.
Yeah.
So you don't really buy that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and so we just, we ended up getting Easter eggs from the book in the movie, which seemed weird.
Yep.
Yeah. It did seem weird.
Yeah, the Shining scene is the only thing for me that worked, I think. That really worked.
Right. Yeah. So I guess that's it for our Ready Player One recap and reaction. What did you guys think of the movie? Did you hate the book? Did you love the book? Did you hate the movie? Did you love the movie? Let us know. Have a drink and get back to us.